Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told how to voice radio, so today we're going to be looking at a ridiculous new Pokemon deck that we can be playing. A deck that is taking pre-releases by storm, but that might actually be able to come out and compete in real tournaments. How much fun does that sound? And then we're going to be looking at maybe other cards we can do, other cards we can use, other things, other strategies to make Guzzlord a little bit more viable. Now, if you look around the internet at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, you can find many pictures like this. That's right. People are going to pre-releases. Shout out to Connor Bird for the picture, by the way. And at pre-releases, you play 40 card decks with 1 Guzzlord GX and 39 basic darkness energy. Now, of course, this is only an option if you are lucky enough to pull yourself a Guzzlord GX, but a lot of people, and from what I can see, a lot of people that are lucky enough to pull a Guzzlord GX are doing exactly this. So, how does this particular deck work? Well, the thing is, if you look at Guzzlord GX, it looks incredibly good. It is a basic Pokemon that has 210 HP, which is a lot. Now, it gives up 2 prizes, but given that you're only playing a single Guzzlord in the deck, if that Guzzlord goes down, it might as well be giving up 4 prizes. There is no backup. And it has an attack for 5 energy that just does a flat 180 damage. If, however, you feel the need, you could put 5 darkness energy on and use Glutton GX to do 100 damage, but if you take a KO, you take an extra 2 prize cards. Now, this is important because at pre-releases, you play 40 card decks with 4 prize cards. So if you take a KO with Glutton GX, you are 75% of the way to winning the game right now. And the thing is that at pre-releases, people aren't always using their GXs. People might be playing a Buzzwole GX, but only if they're lucky enough to actually draw into it. So a lot of the time, you're going to be against evolving Pokemon who have 100 HP or less, and you're going to be taking free prizes. How does this work? Well, we use Eat Sloppily. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck. If any of those cards are energy cards, attach them to this Pokemon. So because all of the cards in your deck are basic energy, then all you do is turn 1, you attach an energy. You will definitely have one in your hand. You use Eat Sloppily, and then turn 2, you can just use Tyrannical Hole if you're against a GX, or Glutton GX if you're not, and you basically will win the game. This is about, and people have been doing this ever since Reshiram and Zekrom came around. In Black and White, people have been doing this in pre-releases to try and win. But this is about the most ridiculous card we have ever had for this particular pre-release strategy, and essentially it guarantees that you are going to win that particular game. Now, there are a couple of exceptions. We'll get to them in a moment. Of course, if you're very unlucky, you might end up like these 2 people at a pre-release in the UK. And, yeah, confirmed by the lovely Stephen Kent, very good friend of mine, that the person who went second won. It is as simple as that. Bit of a dumb deck, bit of a ridiculous deck. At pre-releases, most people are not going to have anything they can do to actually stop you. I mean, let's take something like a Buzzwole, a basic fighting GX that looks really good. And this will take down a Guzzlord, assuming you start with it, and assuming you have an energy every turn. So, if Buzzwole goes first, then what happens is that Buzzwole attaches an energy, and then Guzzlord attaches an energy and uses Eat Sloppily. Buzzwole then attaches a second energy. Guzzlord goes ahead and attacks, doing 180, but because Buzzwole's got 190, it isn't KO'd. And then Buzzwole attaches a third energy and wins the game. Or Guzzlord goes first, attaches an energy. Buzzwole attaches an energy. Guzzlord attaches a second and uses Eat Sloppily. Buzzwole attaches an energy. Guzzlord hits for 180 but doesn't get the KO. and then Buzzwole attaches a third energy and does get the KO. Okay, Buzzwole will win here because it happens to be able to do enough damage, and it's not one-hit KO'd, meaning you will always get free attachments before Guzzlord takes you down. But ladies and gentlemen, unless you do something like that, this is basically unbeatable in a pre-release. And also, if you're one of the people that does this in a pre-release, I hope you're proud of yourselves. But the question is, will this ridiculous Guzzlord deck actually work in real life? Well, the problem is, in real life, in a proper tournament where people have access to whatever cards they want, maybe not. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're against a Gardevoir deck. Turn 2, they rare candy into a Gallade, and then just a double colourless energy, and they hit for 260, get a KO. In a real tournament, you can still use Buzzwole, but you can use it with something like Max Elixir, or even something like a Rayquaza to accelerate energy. Or maybe you're against something like a Vikavolt Tapu Bulu. Turn 2, Vikavolt uses Strong Charge, and then a Tapu Bulu with free energy because of the Strong Charge, and a Choice Band will be able to get a one-hit KO. Or maybe somebody's playing Marshadow and hits for weakness and gets a KO. There are plenty of things to stop Guzzlord doing this in a proper tournament outside of a pre-release. Like I've said, in a pre-release, unless you've got something like a Buzzwole that can both do enough energy and tank a hit, you're probably going to lose. But in the real world, in real tournaments, if we've got all the options available to us, then Guzzlord becomes an awful lot worse. That weakness to fighting becomes a slight issue. So what can you do as a Guzzlord player? You can't just play this deck. It won't work. I feel very strongly about this. Well, you've got some options. How about you work on multiple Guzzlords so that when one Guzzlord goes down, you've got others that can come along. Now, you're going to need some energy acceleration to do this, and obviously in the expanded format, we've got Dark Patch, but even in standard, we've got Max Elixir. Guzzlord is a basic Pokemon. So whack him on the bench, play a Max Elixir, and you don't have to be playing 59 basic Darkness energy here. If you're playing 15, you're probably going to hit 3 or 4 in every game. You can use something like an Yveltal. Now, Yveltal's actually really good here, because I've already mentioned how the weakness to fighting could be a slight annoyance if you're playing a Guzzlord deck. Well, Yveltal comes in, he's got your back. Not only that, but let's not forget that you're playing 2 prize Pokemon. So an Yveltal coming in, giving up a single prize here, is a huge advantage, because then your opponent still has to KO 3 Guzzlord to win the game. This is the kind of classic 7-prize game, so to speak. Or maybe you use something like Wishful Baton. Now, Wishful Baton is not a card that sees a huge amount of play, but it could work here nicely. You attach a Wishful Baton to a Guzzlord, he gets KO'd, and then 3 of those basic Darkness energy get moved to one of your bench Pokemon. That sounds like an awful lot of fun to me. And of course, you can use double colourless energy with Guzzlord when you're not playing in a format that doesn't have it. And then of course, Wishful Baton plus double colourless, you've got another Guzzlord ready to go. Yeah, your opponent can play a Field Blower, fine. But are they always going to have the Field Blower? And they better have the Field Blower the turn they KO you, or else you can just put another Wishful Baton down instead. Now, there is an argument that Choice Band is better than Wishful Baton here, because of course Guzzlord does 180, and you whack a Choice Band on to do 210, and you're hitting some really crucial KOs there. Pokemon like Espeon, for instance, or Golisopod. Having said that, 180 on its own is still enough to get stuff like, for instance, Drampa, Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, and maybe you don't want to get a one-hit KO. Maybe you want to use Tyrannical Hole for 180, almost KO a Pokemon, so that you can come back with Glutton GX and take 4 prizes. Although do watch out for your opponent playing Ace Roller if that's the way you choose to go here. Or maybe even just play Fighting Fury Belt. You go up to a whopping 250 HP which will put you out of range of something like Tapu Bulu, although as a side note, Gallade will actually be hitting 260 here, and will still be getting a one-hit KO. Never mind. And actually, while we're here, I should probably mention Gardevoir as a whole. I mean, Gardevoir decks don't really need anything but Gallade to take Guzzlord down, but while we're here, Guzzlord cannot hit enough to get a one-hit KO on a Gardevoir, not to mention Gardevoir's resistance to darkness here. And even if they could, once you got 5 energy on you, Gardevoir needs 1 energy and a choice band, or 2 energy, to be hitting 210 and getting a one-hit KO. So, shall we say there's quite a few Pokemon that can KO you. Guzzlord with 59 energy, or on a pre-release 39 energy, is a massive gimmick deck. It's a complete gimmick. I get that. But maybe there's a world in which Guzzlord can be a viable Pokemon. You need to slow it down a little bit. You've still got Eat Sloppily, but you've also got Eviltal, Max Elixir, and maybe Wishbaton to help you out here. You want secondary attackers like Eviltal, and maybe even Eviltal EX here. There is hope for Guzzlord as a Pokemon, but I feel very strongly that Guzzlord with 59 energy is a gimmick deck, because Guzzlord has a big weakness to Gallade, to Gardevoir, to Tapu Bulu. I could keep going, but you get the point. There's plenty of Pokemon out there like Metagross, which cannot get a one-hit KO. But there's plenty of Pokemon that can. But as always, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about Guzzlord. Did you play Guzzlord in 39 energy at a pre-release? Did you see your pre-release won by somebody else who did? Do you think Guzzlord is a viable Pokemon? I want to hear all of your thoughts. Get them down in the comments. Go nuts! Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassy, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. That's where the live action happens. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, etc., you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.